Hey, it's Mike Lipowski. I'm back, and yes, I'm wearing the same shirt I was wearing last time. But I can promise you, it's been washed. Actually, all kidding aside, I have about 3 of these shirts, and it's because whenever I'm training someone or speaking to someone, I love to send that very subtle, subliminal reminder that when we're training, we should be training to win. Now, what winning is going to be very different from one person to the next. I understand that. But that's because we all have a very different ultimate outcome. The point is, though, whenever we're in the gym or decide to perform any type of exercise, our focus should be on doing it in a way that's going to move us closer towards achieving that ultimate outcome. And so that's going to mean that the level of intensity and effort from one workout to the next, from one individual to another, can and will be very different. But enough of the pep talk. What I want to talk to you about today is what's really and truly necessary to stimulate gains. Most people, they tend to get too focused in the minutia. Everybody wants to know what's the best method of training. Is it to do high volume, high intensity, high frequency? Is it to do CrossFit, or I don't give a shit? Whatever it is, there's pros and cons to every training method. We can lay out 100 of them, and we'll find something good, bad, or maybe indifferent about each and every single one of them. Where we should really be placing our focus is on what's the optimal amount of training demands necessary to stimulate gains. So if you never really gave thought to training demands, here's what they are. They're the total effect of all the exercise factors on the body, on the muscles, over a period of time. So if we take intensity, volume, frequency, method of repetition, performance, load, all those things, if we add them together, that is basically our total demands. And what that adds up to will determine whether or not the workout was effective, or our program is effective, in stimulating the gains that we're looking to achieve. So training demands account for why very different training methods can both produce the same result. So if you have an individual who's been doing high volume their entire adult life, and they've made great gains on it, made excellent progress, and suddenly switched over to a more high intensity approach, they may still make great gains. They may make better gains. But they may at some point circle back and find that if they return to their high volume ways, or maybe just simply change the way that they're performing their repetitions, it can make a dramatic difference in what type of adaptive response they get. So a lot of that, none of it had to do with high volume or high intensity. It had to do with the change in training demands and what was right at the right time. So this is also the reason why many programs fail, because people don't understand that it's a simple matter of cause and effect. And so if the training demands aren't great enough to stimulate a need to adapt, the body won't. And also, you got to remember that this needs to be balanced with the proper amount of recovery time. It's not just a one-step process. It's not just we pile on the demands and suddenly, we start to see ourselves blossom. It's definitely a factor, but it has to be balanced with proper recovery. But that aside, if we're doing that, then we're going to be successful. People don't fail because of the type of training they do per se. They fail because of their inability to manage their training demands. If they can just get a little bit better at understanding when it's time to increase the intensity or decrease it, to increase the volume or lower it, to change their method of repetition performance, or to leave it the same, or just simply to take a little extra rest, train less frequency, train a muscle group less frequently, or more frequently. All those things. I mean, you see that there's so many different factors that go into making a workout, a program effective, that it's almost impossible to predict in our dynamic lives with all we have going on and how very different each of us is. It's impossible to predict what's the right way to do it. So we can refer to studies and we can refer to what other people do, and it can give us clues. It can definitely provide great clues as to what to do and what might work. But in the end, if you're able to manage your training demands over the course of your training career, you're going to find success. You're going to win. You know, Maverick and Goose, they had a need for speed. You and I, we have a need to achieve. And that's what learning about training demands and how to manage them is all about.